Are you single?
Do I answer that? I kept the... Good morning, you guys. So today's a little bit different. We're not cooking. Actually, we are. We're gonna cook some oatmeal griddle pancakes a little bit later on. We need to pull up all my turnips, and I do think I have some beets sprinkled in there so that we can plant my zinnias and my okra, and I even have a shishito pepper and a jalapeno pepper, which need to be watered. This will revive back to life. But in the process of that, you guys have asked me to do a Q&A for so long. I asked you guys on Instagram, just like send me whatever questions you have for me. I was a little overwhelmed. There was a lot of questions, but we try to choose the most popular ones. And so my brother's behind the camera. He's gonna ask them. I'm gonna answer them. We're gonna plant together. Later we're gonna cook breakfast together. And so it's gonna be fun. All right, what you got first?
When did you start cooking?
I have basically grown up in the kitchen.
Hi, my name is Lauren Taylor, and I would like to show you how to make scrumpy lumpy.
I learned how to cook from my mom and my Nana. When I really started getting in the kitchen, probably middle school. There's actually a really funny video where my mom just encouraged me to enter in this Ghirardelli chocolate cooking thing, and I made scrumpy lumpies, and let me tell you, it probably was not my best creation, but it's really funny to look back on.
The fruits, apricots and dried cherries, should be looking like they're glazed.
Middle school, Lauren. Was I in middle school? Yeah, I had to be in middle school.
What's your favorite category of cooking?
That's kind of like picking a favorite child. I have Armenian heritage on my Nana's side, even though she did grow up in the South. And so I would say like Mediterranean food and then also Southern food, because I think one of the best foods is fried chicken, and like fried chicken, some flaky Southern biscuits. So Mediterranean food and Southern food go hand in hand. I also love baking, specifically citrus inspired bakes. I'm not too keen on like heavy chocolate baking. We're gonna put these for the chickens. So this is a typical size turnip. This is a turnip that I obviously didn't thin out, so it got stuck and it just had its growth stunted. I don't throw it away though. First off, turnip greens are incredible bitter greens on salads, but also I just give it to chickens.
What goes on behind the scenes for a creator?
There is so much admin behind the scenes, like recipe testing, because I'm not just gonna put out a random recipe with you guys. I want it to be good and foolproof. So lots of recipe testing, lots of editing, writing, the recipes up on my blog, and a lot of like prep work. Like this garden, I love gardening, but gardening definitely takes a lot of off hours, like early mornings, late evenings, so that I can really be at its best. The boring stuff is behind the scenes. Sadie, what are you doing?
How old are you?
I am 27, and that's that.
What breed is Aspen?
She's a Cocker Spaniel. We grew up with a big dog, and I always thought I would get a big dog. And I still think down the road I would get a German Shepherd. Like that's in the foreseeable future. But right now I love Aspen. She's the cuddliest, cutest little thing. She's so good. And she just picks up on cues so well. I've never trained her, but she definitely gives off in her funny personality, but I love her, and she's a Cocker Spaniel.
5 years, what do you hope to be doing / have done?
That's a really fun question. I don't think too much into the future. I try to be a good steward of today and this month, be intentional in the moment, but I think in the next 5 years, definitely horses. I want horses really bad. Ask anyone in my family, I've been saying that for like a year or two now. Maybe some goats, maybe some more land to expand the garden. Who knows? Probably not. Actually, maybe, who knows? Maybe married, who knows? Maybe a cookbook? That would be really fun. You guys have been asking me, so I feel like that'd be fun.
How did a bright moment begin?
As I said earlier, I grew up in the kitchen with my mom and my Nana. My mom is more of the challenger in the kitchen, so she's always challenged me to try new flavors, and my Nana is very traditional. Based off those two, I would just like have fun creating recipes in the kitchen, and one day my mom was like, hey, why don't you just start posting recipes online for the fun of it? And I was like, yeah, but who's gonna make my recipes? And she reminded me that that's not the point of when you cook. The point of cooking is cooking for the one, to make a bright moment in one person's life. And so she just encouraged me to show up for the one person that might need a little encouragement in the day or maybe a new recipe. And it's been really sweet to see it grow to more than just one person, but it's always still focused on just being there for each and every one of you and learning through trial and error, I guess. Okay, we have all our turnips, all the really big good ones. The tiny little ones are down here. I'm gonna feed them to the chickens throughout the next few days. Yeah, I planted my okra, my zinnias, there's sugar cube melon still in there. Sadie's eating my watercress apparently. And now we're gonna go into the kitchen and make some oatmeal griddle cakes, which is basically oatmeal pancakes. I love them so much. And continue the questions. Now we're back in the kitchen making some griddle pancakes, which I love making griddle pancakes, and you could buy oat flour, like pre-ground oat flour, but I'll just take regular oatmeal because then you can keep it for cookies and grind it to like 1.5 cups. And I'll put this recipe in the caption for you guys. Let me grind this real fast and then we'll get back to those questions. Alright, what you got for me?
How do you manage cleaning?
Yeah. Cleaning is definitely one of the downfalls to cooking a lot. I think it's a shift in mindset. So realizing the blessing that I'm able to clean because I'm able to afford food and be able to enjoy good food with good company. So I think it's just a shifting of mindset because there will always be dishes when you cook, and that's just a part of home cooking.
An attribute of the Lord you're learning right now.
I saw this come in, I thought it was really sweet. I'm always learning new attributes of the Lord, but I think relying on His faithfulness and really understanding that even in our doubt, even in changing seasons, like the Lord doesn't change. He is omnipresent, He is always with us, and He is always faithful. And so I would say that's my current attribute that I'm really loving. A whisk.
How close does all your family live?
I have family within 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. Most of my family and friends are within an hour of me, so pretty close, which is such a blessing and so fun. And where most of my food goes to, too. I'm not eating this all by myself.
Do you ever feel as lonely as someone who works online?
I think at first, yes, I think that when you work from home and when you work online, it can feel very isolating because it's just you and a camera or you and a phone and you and a laptop. Thankfully, because I cook so much for my family and my friends, it doesn't feel as lonely because they're always there in some capacity or another enjoying the food with me, and because they live nearby, there's little stop-ins throughout the week. So I think it's finding a balance, a work-life balance.
What was your job prior to this?
I had a normal marketing job. I graduated from Liberty University with a digital marketing degree and creative writing. And then I also, Sadie's eating a raspberry, and so did Aspen earlier. I also did a lot of freelance work, so I would recipe develop for just the fun of it and write up articles for a local magazine. And then now we're here. Kind of crazy.
What is a tip you have with sourdough that's honestly changed the game?
There's a few. I feel like first off, don't overthink sourdough. When I first started my sourdough journey, I was so overwhelmed with the amount of steps and processes, when really one of the biggest things with bread making is the lift and fold process, because what that's doing is trapping in the air, which is creating those beautiful air bubbles and chewy texture. I also think using your sourdough starter a little, slightly past its peak stage, because then it creates this stronger flavor. I don't do this often, but if you have an extra 30-60 minutes prior to making your sourdough dough, doing the autolysis, I think that's how you pronounce it, which is where you mix your flour and your water together and let it sit for 30 to 60 minutes, and then add your sourdough starter, your salt, etc. That really helps to create a stronger crumb development and gluten development.
Do you eat all the food you make?
This is so funny. You guys ask me this all the time. Thankfully, I have a lot of family and friends nearby, so I am sharing the majority of my food. If not, I'm freezing it and then pulling it out at later moments. But no, I do not eat all the food by myself. Do I eat it all? Yes, absolutely. But I'm also sharing all of it or giving it away too.
What do you usually eat for breakfast?
Breakfast is definitely the slacker of the day. I love mornings. Like, I love my coffee and my devotions, and sometimes I just want it to be like done quick, so I have my bone broth in the morning, or like a little olive oil, extra virgin olive oil lemon shot, and then I have my coffee with either sourdough toast with honey and butter. There's these whole grain biscotti that we get at the farmer's market that is so good, and that's probably like my typical breakfast, but as you guys can tell, I love pancakes. So pancakes, eggs, bacon is ideal, but not every morning. What is she barking at? It's about to get so hot.
What are the top 3 things that bring you joy?
The Lord, my family, and my friends. And sunshine. We can combine family and friends. That would be the trio.
Where do you shop for clothes?
I feel like I'm a repetitive shopper at Abercrombie. They've gotten really good cotton items recently. I try to buy as much cotton as possible. So Abercrombie, Suzanne for like specialty pieces, like heirloom pieces that I'll keep forever. And then I like Slide the Label. They have really good fabric choices. I think that's mainly what I wear.
What's your favorite dessert to bake?
I think it depends on the season. Peach cobbler during summertime, can't go wrong with that. Cheesecakes are really fun for spring. Pies during winter. Oh my goodness, donuts. I love old-fashioned donuts. Oh, peach fritters, apple fritters. Guys, there's so many. And if you make it seasonal, I feel like that's what makes it fun. Like, I could eat a cheesecake all year round, but it needs to be seasonally inspired, if that makes sense.
Do your friends donate any money for all the dinner parties?
They do not. Honestly, I see it as my way of serving them because it's so sweet. They take their time out of their day to come over. It's just a really sweet time to capture, and so that's my way of serving them, and I don't require anything from them or ask anything. I do understand though, hosting dinner parties can be a financial undertaking, and just like it's very time consuming in the planning and the prepping and the cooking. So I would recommend like potluck styles. My friends are always asking if they can bring something, and they're always welcome to bring something. Yeah, potluck styles are really fun, and it makes it more financially friendly for dinner parties.
Do you ever get nervous cooking for people?
I would say more in the beginning when I was figuring out my cooking style, and kind of once you get the ratios of things, like the perfect ratio of a cheesecake and a cake, the way you have fun with it, it gets exciting more than it gets scary. I think like as a people pleaser, I want people to love the food that I give them. So it's equal parts exciting, maybe a little scary, but honestly, I don't really get frightened cooking for people, but I can understand as a people pleaser where that would come into play.
What is your music taste?
My brother would probably laugh at me because he definitely has different and better music taste than I do. I love like folk music, country music, Christian music. I love some Olivia Dean. Casey Musgraves has really good music right now. I love some Ella Langley. I'm forgetting like a bunch of names. I'm really, really bad with names. But yeah, those are like the kind of categories I tend to lean towards.
Any advice for hosting first dinner party?
Ooh. Okay, my biggest tip overall when hosting any dinner party, whether it be your first, your 50th, I feel like it's always a process of learning. Like every single time I host, whether it be a bigger dinner party or just my family and friends, or just like a cookout and hangout, you'll figure out what foods people gravitate towards, and like just take note of that, and don't like hit yourself over the head for putting out a dish that nobody went towards, but like use it as a time to learn from your mistakes. And they're not mistakes, they're just, you're figuring things out, and that's the process of hosting a dinner party. I will say to try not to be cooking when your guests are here, because then it kind of steals you away from being present and intentional with your company. And so I would try to find foods that don't necessarily need to be served like immediately, because also or at least with my friends, we all kind of tend to float in at different times. I would also try to make ahead as much food as possible. That is your life, like that is such a game-changing tip. For example, if you're gonna host like an Italian night, tiramisu is one of my go-to make ahead desserts, because you can make ahead 2 days, a day prior, and then just pull it out of the fridge when you're ready to serve it. Pasta though, try to find like a dish where you can, if you want pasta, serve it cold, fried chicken, you can keep it warm in the oven. Just like thinking ahead for ways to save you time the day of, if that makes sense.
What's your go-to meal in a hurry?
I think any form of sourdough toast, because you get the satisfaction of a crunchy sourdough toast, and then like I love a tuna melt, like a canned tuna mix on sourdough toast, done in 5-10 minutes, easy. I do love some like sauteed ground beef and zucchini during the summertime, and honestly any vegetable during the summertime, ground beef, ground vegetable. I like to keep sometimes some rice, like coconut rice on hand, and then you can reheat that and toss it in. I'd say those are like my go-to when I'm in a hurry and don't want to even think about it. And I'll add the ground beef with like some soy sauce and ginger and garlic. Keep it really simple but aromatic. I think that's pretty much it.
Any advice for new creators?
I think just have fun with it. Because it's such a beautiful, like social media, it has such a beautiful way of connecting people from all around the world. And so I think if you go into it with this idea of having fun and using it as a creative outlet and a way to document your life, then you never know where the Lord will take it. And just being true and authentic to yourself, because I think people, they want to see that and they want to see who you are, and remaining true to yourself is exciting and fun to watch. And yeah, just having fun with it.
Are you single?
Do I answer that? Yes, we are. Okay, there we go. Alright guys, it is getting very hot and sunny, just specifically right here. The rest of my yard is shaded still. So we're gonna eat our pancakes, our oatmeal grilled pancakes. Again, I'll put these in the caption because I love making them really easy. Kind of high in protein too, and fiber. And I hope that answered some of your questions. I can try to answer more in the comments, and like maybe we'll do, in a few months from now, we'll do another round of the questions. And thank you guys for tagging along with some morning chores. And I'll see you guys in next week's video.